I specifically want to drill into one of your expertise areas, which is imposter syndrome. So that's the subject for this podcast. And I think most of us, if not all of us, feel these feelings of like, I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or what if everyone finds out? So can you just kind of walk us through a basic definition of what it is and maybe some signs that people might be able to say, okay, oh, that's what I'm experiencing?
Sure. The part about what if people find out is totally applicable from the beginning, because I felt like I was keeping it hidden. But I guess to me, imposter syndrome is like, I know that I want to do this and I believe in myself that I can do it, but how can I convince other people that I can do this when I actually haven't done whatever it is before, right? Like, I was a teacher. I stand up in front of kids all day. I can talk. I can teach a lesson. I was an English teacher. So like, I could teach a lesson on like Edgar Allan Poe or something, and people will be like, oh yeah, she can. She's been teaching for 10 years. But now that I like know I can make somebody's monthly newsletter, but I haven't done it before, but I've done all the skills that a newsletter requires. How can I convince somebody that I can do it? And then like at some point you kind of like backtrack and you're like, I don't have anything that convince anybody other than like my words. And so then you start to feel like, I don't know, actually, like, was I a little too hype on myself? Like, can I actually do this? It's a little bit of self-doubt, but like not originally, because if you had self-doubt from the beginning, you would have never started. It's self-doubt once you realize like, where's the proof?
Yeah, so I think that's probably, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, to me that ties into why so many successful people feel it, because I think you're right on. If you're not starting, well, yeah, it often comes like after you get started and you go, oh crap, what did I get myself into?
Right.
So let's talk about that a little bit more detail. So like, what are some of the traps? And it's probably like thinking traps. So you probably think certain kinds of thoughts and then it leads to certain kinds of action or inaction, right? What are some traps either you've seen in your own life or you've seen in others that you've helped as a result of imposter syndrome?
Yeah, so in my own life, when you're first like kind of running with this and you're brand new, so in your head, you're a beginner. And then you're looking for anybody who needs this type of help. And they're like, you know, do you know any either business coach or strategist or creative mind or whatever? But in their posts, I'm not looking for a beginner. I'm like, well, that really stinks, because I would be really good at making people's newsletters or suggesting what social media platform they can find their audience on, but I'm a beginner. So I had to like reframe my mind that like, okay, I'm a beginner in terms of the title creative business strategist. Like, I've been doing it for a year, so beginner. But I'm actually not a beginner in creating, for example, like attractive and engaging Instagram posts, because every single day as a teacher, I mean, I would teach 130 kids a day, because in middle school they rotate to classes, and every single day I had to come up with a new presentation with a good looking slideshow, a good delivery, a good like verbiage or language that the kids could relate to and identify with. So I'm actually not a beginner at all. I've been doing that for 10 years. So you just have to think of the skills you have and not necessarily the new title that you're working under. And so then I just literally made a list of like all the things I'm good at that I've been doing for 10 years as a teacher and how that could translate into helping other people grow their business.
Yeah, I really love that, because I do the same thing. You know, I've been a professional editor and writer for 4 years. That's been my main job for 4 years, but I've been doing it for decades. I just never, you don't really think about it until you get in this situation and go, well, wait a second. Like, to your point, I'm not a beginner per se. I have the skill set. I've just never exchanged a skill set for money before. That's really the only difference.
That's a really good way to put it. Yes.